What can the head coach do to stem the tide? And I think there's something he could focus on. Like I keep coming back to this. First of all, last 3 games, the Niners have fallen behind, been behind in the fourth quarter, been unable to come from behind. The Niners win in one way. They have one way they win. They get a lead early and they keep it. They do. What was the last time the Niners won a game they were losing at the beginning of the fourth quarter? And I remember that Kurt Benkert was with the practice squad. Now he's sort of like a content creator. And he mentioned that the Niners do not practice 2-minute drill because they're so good they don't have to. Because they win by getting a lead and keeping it. So you know what? You're not that good anymore. Kyle, your homework, from my humble opinion, quality control, the coach, you need to work on 2-minute drill. You need to set up situations in practice, situational football, where you're down 2 scores in the fourth quarter, down 9, down 10, down 13, 8 minutes left, and practice from there. And it's not just, what they would do, but it's also what you would do. Like, how are you going to speed up these play calls so they're not a paragraph? How are you going to speed up the pre-snap process so there aren't 8 shifts and motions? How are you going to actually go hurry up? Because you don't practice that. That's your homework for the bye week.
Yep. I'm glad you brought that up, Iggy, because it's the God's honest truth. It's not, and that's why I'm not making this like, the referendum on the quarterback. Right. Kyle has been out coached for a month.
That's correct.
That's facts. Okay. Mm-hmm. He himself. All right. So we could talk about Brock. We could talk about the O-line. We damn sure been talking about the defense. Singularly, Kyle Shanahan as a head coach has been outcoached for a month. Offensively, Kyle Shanahan as an offensive coordinator has been outcoached for a month. Okay. So us coming with proof of like the Niners don't have proof of concept because they haven't won. Okay. Right. So all of this grandstanding about their offense being so good so they don't have to run the 2-minute. No. How about you start taking on some things that you haven't done before because you haven't gotten over the hump? Like all of this posturing as if they are Super Bowl champions. No, you didn't get there. You did not win. Okay. The last time you went, you got summarily kicked out, like gone. Yeah. So my thing is that we need to start seeing different, not even different. Let's just say what it is. We need to see growth. All right. We've been seeing the same offense for almost 7 years. It ain't new. All right. And it's losing its creativity with coincidentally every time a coach exoduses to go to another offense or go to another team. Okay. Mike McDaniel's gone. Okay. Slowick is gone. All right. These are the people that carry this stuff and undergirded Kyle so he can just call plays any way he wants to on the weekdays. Mike McDaniel was who found Raheem Mostert. Okay, that was Mike McDaniel's baby. All right, on defense. All right, you want to talk about the culture of this team? Why we've been led by as a defensive team for so many years? Because it was Mike Saleh. Look at what he's doing in New York. Robert Saleh. Look at what he's doing in New York. Look at how he's righting the ship with everything that has happened with them, and it seemingly they're just keeping things together. This is a man that stood up to his locker room when the locker room was wearing t-shirts of the backup quarterback, and he stood up for his guy. Okay. Look at what Mike McDaniel is doing in the creativity and how he's doing it. And also being the smartest guy in the room, but making sure to be the humblest guy in the room to say, I don't know everything. I had to get Vic Fangio. I'm so lucky that he came here. So it's not necessarily that we need another trick from Kyle. All right. The tricks are gone. All right. We need growth. We need to see real change. We need real eyebrow raisers where it's like, wow, I never seen Kyle do that before. All right. So having a 2-minute drill, being able to give Brock Purdy the ability to play hurry up. Okay. Like even in the Vikings game while we were driving, they even mentioned on the broadcast, why are they moving so slow? They act like they have so much time. We did not play hurry up. So I just like to see growth from Kyle. I mean, it's time out for you to just give us the clever plays that get people open. Like, I actually want to see like your genius push the team forward.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, he's so good with his first drive. He's so good scripting his first drive of the game or his first drive of the second half. But we're talking about fourth quarter, on the fly, down. That we want to see growth there, and you have to press that. You have to, and to know that he doesn't is alarming. To know that he thinks he can win a Super Bowl by getting leads early in games and holding on to them, like one game along the way, you're going to have to come from behind, and you can't because you don't practice it. I mean, is it Brock Purdy's fault that he's choking in the fourth quarter, or is it Kyle's fault because the entire offense isn't prepared for that situation? I don't know.
I mean, is it that much of a front to your ego to realize that your offense possibly may fail and the team may be behind? Like for you to like, is it that hard for you to even realize, hey man, as good as I think our offense is, we're still going to be behind down the stretch. And this is what we need to do in those moments. I think that is alarming where
the defense isn't dominant anymore. There are games where they're going to give up 30 points. You got to come from behind, like last week.
Yeah. And it's going to have to be times where Kyle is going to have to be a lot more smarter with not necessarily just trying to get in his flow to set up plays for the next, but it's going to have to be able to protect his offense. That's something that we haven't seen from Kyle. It seems as though that when we are down, we don't get that lead back. It's hard.
Crazy Rod 16 says if Brock Purdy is telling people he isn't 100%, then he's hurting the team. James Welsh says you shouldn't have to have a top 5 defense every season if you have a quarterback who can compensate for natural variance. Niners have internalized this fallacy. Yeah, and it's like the whole idea of not doing a 2-minute drill just assumes you're going to have a top 5 defense every league. We don't have to. Our defense is going to win the game. We'll run the ball, and that's how we'll win every time. Like, no, you're not the 1972 Dolphins.
Right. I mean, and honestly, this is I really like this super chat comment from James because what it does is it highlights the fact that our defense is being gaslit. Really, like we're top 10, right? And I understand that we're seeing woes on our defense and issues that we customarily don't see, but we were the number 1 defense overall. You can win a Super Bowl with a top 10 defense. You can win a Super Bowl with a top 10 defense.
Yes, you can. Serenity says, as a medic professor or professional, still worried about Brock Purdy concussion. Hit his head a time at Iowa State. He did have turnover issues. Thoughts? Yeah, I think he's had a lot of dropped interceptions early in his career, and I hope his brain's okay. Chris says, homework for Kyle. Remember, research inspiring quarterback stories for his young quarterback. 91 Steve Young struggles, 99 Kurt Warner, Alex Smith, etc. Okay, Chris. Good call. All right. Coach,